Hi there, Terry back again. Hope I find you well. Uh, I've been looking forward to doing this video, but I've been waiting for a t-shirt to arrive, and it has. So here we go. The end of the George Perez era, issues 38 to 62. Not too much trivia in this video, or it'll be too long. And I think the covers speak for themselves in the main anyway. Right, we start with Wonder Woman 38, January 1990. And we have a Chris Marinan and George Perez cover. The title was Forbidden Fruit. It was written by George Perez and Mindy Newell, and the pencils are by Chris Marinan, inks by Mike Macklin, and colours by Carl Gafford. Number 39, February 90. Again, the cover is by Chris Marinan and George Perez, and this one was called Poison Souls, and all the same creators inside. Number 40, March 1990, and again by Chris Marinan and George Perez. Divided We Fall. And the only change here was the inker, and that became Robert Campanella. Number 41, all the same again. Chris Marinan and George Perez doing the cover. This one was called The Ties That Bind. And we just changed the inker here, and that was Romeo Tangel. Number 42, May 1990. And this was The Silver Wing of Terror. And again, the writers, George Perez and Mindy Newell. The pencils this time by Chris Marinan, inks by Romeo Tangel, and colours by Carl Gafford. '43, June 1990, and also the cover again by Chris Marinan and George Perez. And this was called the Armageddon Aria. And a bit of off the wall trivia about this one. Silver Swan briefly likens her conversion procedures to those depicted in the 1980 film Altered States. Now we have number 44, July, and this one was called Caged, and everything's the same. George Perez and Chris Marinan and all the original creators. 45, August 90. Now we have a bit of a change. This is an all George Perez cover. Title's Legacy. It's still written by Perez and Newell, and the art this time, the pencil's Jill Thompson, and she's joined by Cynthia Martin and Colleen Doran. And we also join Romeo Tangel with the inks, and the colours are Carl Gafford. Number 46, and this one little cover is by Jill Thompson. The title is Chalk Drawings, and this was written by George Perez without Mindy Newell, and the pencils Jill Thompson, inks Romeo Tangel, and the colours Carl Gafford. Number 47, October 90, and again another cover by George Perez all on his own. This one was called Common Ground, and it's written by George. Pencils by Jill Thompson again, Romeo Tangel inking, and Juliana Ferreter doing the colours. Here in this issue, it marks the first meeting of Wonder Woman and Troia, who was formerly Wonder Girl, in the post-Crisis universe. Number 48, November 90. Another lovely cover by George Perez, and this one was called Fang and Claw. We just had a change of colorist here, and that was by Pon Zuku. I was thinking it was just like a negative space one before they became popular. then we have number 49, December 1990. Lovely George Perez cover. And Look Back in Wonder, the story so far. And again, the writer is George Perez. Pencil and Links by Colleen Doran, and the colours by Tom Zuko. And then we have number 50. George Perez again doing the cover. This is from January 91, and it was called Embrace the Coming Dawn. Writer George Perez, and then we're back with Jill Thompson with the pencils, Romeo Tangle with the inks, and Juliana Ferratia with the colours. And many, many others, as you can see on the cover. And they've also managed to squeeze around 50 characters into this issue. It was a double-sized one, it's true. Then we have number 51, February 91. George Perez doing a lovely cover again. And this one's called Speed Image. And this time we're back with George Perez doing the writing, pencils Jill Thompson, inks Romeo Tanghel, and colours by Tom Zuko. Number 52, March 91. Another lovely George Perez cover. This one's called Shards. And we change again. George is still doing the writing, but the pencils this time are by Cynthia Martin. Inks by Kevin Noland, and the colours are still by Tom Zuko. 53, Welcome to My Nightmare. George Perez again. And we've got Welcome, as I back with Jill, Romeo and Tom with the art. And George is still writing. The Amazons of Bannermgal are in the background story in that issue. Remember them from number 29? No, neither do I. Right, we've got number 54, May 91. Another George Perez cover. And this one's called Mind Games. And we've got all the same creators from the last issue. Number 55. Cover by George Perez. This one's called Psychopath. And again, all the same creators from the last issue. 56. And this one was called Victims. And it's got all again, it's the same creators, except the colouring is by Nancy Houlihan. Getting close to the end now. Number 57. Again, George Perez cover. This is called The Fugitive Kind. And again, the creators as the last issue. Then the next three issues are crossover with War of the Gods. This is War of the Gods Part 2. It was called Atlas Shrugged. And this story does take place at the same time as War of the Gods number 1. And we still have all the creators as last issue. And then we have War of the Gods Chapter 11. Tales from the Front Lines. And all the creators are back again. And then we have number 60. And again, this is chapter 19, called Blood and Sand. And the writing is still by George, but a bit of a change. Pencils are by Cynthia Martin and Joe Phillips. The inks are by Pablo Marcos and Brian Stelfreeze. And the colouring is still by Nancy Houlihan. And now, why they did this I do not know, but the last two covers are not by George Perez, despite the fact he's writing in them, which is a bit of a shame, being it's his last two. But anyway, number 61 is written, or should cover is done by Jill Thompson, along with the internal art. And this was War of the Gods Part 24, and this was To Avenge an Amazon. And as I said, it's George Perez writing, but Rick Bryant and Nancy Houlihan doing the art. And last, number 62, February 92, the last of the Perez written issues. And this is called Pages Turned. And we have Jill Thompson doing the cover and Jill Thompson doing the internal art. And then we have Romeo Tangel, Nancy Houlihan with the internal inks and colouring. And that is it. Sort of says on the cover, number 62, end of an era. He does come back to do one or two covers, but this I believe is the last time he writes for Wonder Woman. Let me know in the comments if that's wrong. I hope you enjoyed seeing those lovely covers. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you wish. Part 4 will have all those great Brian Bolland covers. Well, nearly all great. I can think of at least one I'm not too keen on. Watch to find out what I mean. Thank you for watching. Much appreciated. See you in the next one. Goodbye.